What is good, good people? We are back for another edition of The Pulse, sponsored by powered by the Family Bloodline Network. And we are here. We are here. Most of us, I don't know what Deuce got going on in the back. It sounds like he back there trying to cook or something. I don't know.
I think he packing for the Middle East too.
What's going on, Cuzzo? So, all right, let's do our quick round of horn, see how everybody's doing. We'll start with you, Deuce.
Hey man, I had a good Monday night, bro. I went out salsa dancing. I don't know, for y'all that don't know, your boy is multicultural, right? I got salsa, I can merengue, I can bachata, right? Yeah, I ran into the OG Black Power Ranger, man, Walter.
No way.
At the spot, man. Hey, cool as a fan. Hey, dope dude, man. Had a dope conversation. So that was a highlight of Monday night.
That's what's happening. I'll jump down to you, Lynn, because we're gonna say the best for last. Because I think he might have something tonight. We'll see. We'll see.
It's a new month. It's the end of the first quarter coming up, and things are kind of crazy.
To say the least.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, indeed. All right, here we go. Rich, how about you? You're on mute.
I said I took another loss in court, but I'll keep going.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Absolutely hate to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
Is that's a result from what you sent us?
Yeah.
What was the count?
3-0.
Oh wow.
Dang.
So
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. So is it over or is it to be continued?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, Rich.
No, it's okay.
It's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So anytime people go to court, they always advise you to have a lawyer. And yeah. But, in my particular case, I could not find a lawyer to take my case on, not pro bono, not contingency basis. I'd already spent $20,000, 10 of my own money, and then $10,000 from supporters. And that money was gone in like 2 months.
Oh,
yeah, that's a retainer.
Yeah.
For a good lawyer.
No, that was we paid the retainer of like $20,000. I think the retainer was $10,000, but anyway, he wanted more money, and he was already showing that he wasn't going to be able to produce. Anyway, let's move on.
Got it. Wig, you hopped in at the absolute beginning, man. Just trying to check in and see how everybody doing. How's your week been so far?
Hey, I'm still married, man.
Okay. Yeah, that's better than most.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad?
No, that's good. That's 29 years, bro. That's good.
That's beautiful then. Okay.
Yeah, it is. So without further delay, let's hop in on Iran. Let me start out by asking the easy question, what I would think is the easy question, which is, what is the reason for this?
Oh, man.
And I'll start. Yeah, go ahead, Deuce. Go ahead, lead us out with that.
Hey, so we're over there to protect America and the world, man. I don't know. You know that. It's in the news, man. Iran was developing nukes, weapons of mass. I'm sorry. I got my notes confused. So wait. I'm sorry. My bad. Not WMDs. We're not using that. They were developing nukes, man, and they were planning on taking out America. They were also threatening our good friends, Israel. So we had to go in preemptively to stop an international threat, man. They didn't start this, but we're finishing.
Who started it?
They started it.
Okay.
Yeah, they started it.
I just want to make sure I heard you right. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they,
I was listening too. I wanted to make sure I heard him right too.
they let me make sure my notes. Yeah, they started it. Yeah.
We're gonna swing back around to that.
Hold on,
Definitive.
who is they? Who is they?
They is the axis of nope. So I'm getting my notes confused. Iran, not the axis of evil. New terminology. My bad.
I see what you're doing there. I like it.
It's the same play. It's the same freaking play. I mean,
Yeah, it absolutely is. Rich, I'm posing a question to you as well. What Iran, like what is it for?
Well, we know that we're not in war because only Congress can declare war.
We'll swing
So
back
maybe
around.
the president, his language could be taken out of context.
Oh,
Second thing,
it's always out of context.
I'm told that they had nuclear weapons, or they were making nuclear weapons, but I was told last summer they destroyed all that. Our president had destroyed all that, so I'm confused. Third thing, it's a funny thing about nuclear weapons. You show me a country with nuclear weapons, and I'm gonna show you a country that can control its resources. You show me a country or countries who don't have nuclear weapons. Every country in Africa, every country in the Middle East. Oh, I'm sorry, except for Israel. So you show me a country that has nuclear weapons, I'm gonna show you a country that controls its destiny. Third and fourth thing, real quick. You ever notice when, let's just take Mr. Glass, for example.
oh Lord.
Got the prettiest woman in America. Now, we all know the prettiest woman in America is with Lynn. We all know that. But Mr. Glass has the prettiest woman in America, but yet he doesn't want me to go out and get a pretty woman too. That way I can compete with his pretty woman. He tells me I can't have a pretty woman, then I'm not authorized because I won't behave correctly. So he has a pretty woman, but I can't have a pretty woman because Mr. Glass is a world leader. And only he can have the pretty woman. I can't have one. I'll stop there.
All right, I see where you're going with that. Hopefully you maintain that narrative, because I there's a lot we can use with that analogy on multiple different levels. Brother Brooks, same question. Hey,
Brother Glass.
Iran, what is it for? What are we doing this for?
I think it's high time we have to do it. And I really think about it as like there's the old adage, and I might be saying the adage incorrectly, for the good men to do nothing, that's how evil exists and continues, or what, something along those lines. And if you look at Iran, like it's been a continual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 year after year of like, yeah, we'll be good. Yeah, we'll stop it. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, we'll make a deal. When we make a deal, we'll break it. Yeah, like, oh, okay, sure, we'll do this. And then it just gets exhausting. And then they just stockpile after stockpile. They're like, those idiots are dumb. They like think that we're gonna actually like do this. And then eventually they like build up, and then they attack, and then they do something stupid. Do something evil. And like eventually, when you're the person who is like in good faith trying to think of them as like somebody like you can negotiate with them in good faith, and then they just betray that faith over and over and over and over again, you've got to be like, okay, that's enough. And then look at like the past, like through presidents. It's not just Trump. It's not just Obama. It's not just Bush. It's years, decades of the same repetitive thing that's been happening. And yeah, Trump is the quote unquote leap that's going to be like, all right, I've had enough of this. Because think about it, guys. He was trying to fix things before when he was first president. Thought he got things done with the Abraham Accords. That everything was kind of copacetic. He was the quote unquote president of peace. We had a whole new generation of leadership. Now Trump's back.
Who was the
Yet
president of peace?
Same problem exists.
Brooks, who was the president of
I
peace?
was using quote unquote like Trump with the Abraham Accords earlier. I was using it as a analogy to like bring up my point. Okay.
I was trying to write that down,
like,
but my
say
pen broke.
Trump is the president.
Right there.
Oh.
All right, so I'm gonna pause you there. I'm gonna pause. I want to pause you there.
Let me finish one point.
Okay,
and then,
good.
Okay. All I was trying to say is like then the same problem still persisted. It's like through Biden's administration, and then like, oh, Iran made all these promises. A, B, C, D, and E, and F, and G, and they just didn't do it. They didn't follow through. They didn't actually like fix it. Even in the second.
I don't want you to jump ahead because this is going to lead into something else. Yeah, it's going to lead into something else. Wig.
What's up,
Wig,
man?
the same. Thank you for hopping on, my man, as well. I appreciate that. But the same question posed to you as well. Iran, what is the reason for it?
Israel, and he found somebody. He found a U.S. president stupid enough to do it. And I'll let you move on from there. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a conversation on it.
We are. Lynn, you up next.
I'm gonna ride with Mr. Wig. In my opinion, there was no good reason to do it now. It wasn't done the way it should have been done. And now it feels like boots on the ground means we lost.
Okay.
Because if you look at that terrain from a tactical standpoint, how do you get up in there and take care of business and get out of there with minimal casualties?
Liam, what are you talking about, man? America marched into the Middle East. We took Afghanistan and turned it back over to a very nice, tolerable government. And we also marched in and we took Iraq and we turned that into a beacon within the Middle East right now.
Right. Now, once again, that's why I led with geography. Have you seen Iran? Have you seen that place?
I can't say I have. I haven't seen
it's a different dude. Like you could have you the kind of guy that can handle most guys on the block. And now their strategy of firing on everybody else, because guess who everybody else wants wants them to protect? They want protection from us. All those countries that Iran is firing on are looking at us like, hey, y'all gonna help us? So, the reason for it is poor leadership. And that's what we're all having to deal with.
Because like you look at that, like that's an important point. That's an important point. Iran fires on U.S. or like, well, not U.S. but like Israel, but now they're firing on like Cyprus, and then they're firing on like Saudi Arabia, and they're going after everybody around them. They're just spraying and praying essentially. And like,
So-
oh, you
so-
don't like us, you didn't help us, fire.
So do you don't think that they have strategic reasons as to what and why they are firing where they are firing?
Oh yeah, Iran has a strategy. Like I said in the group text, they're lobbing $20,000 missiles, and we're intercepting them with $1 million missiles. And guess what we're running out of?
$1 million missiles.
Those $1 million missiles we're running out of real quick. And you know, it's
Well,
my researchers told me those things don't just get made overnight. They
At
take
all.
a minute, and they cost.
Yeah.
They cost $1 million, and they take the better part of a year.
Man, that's
So when you start putting math into the situation, that's not going to be good.
So let me ask the initial question in a little bit of a different way. What has the White House said the reason for this war, right? Because I want to make sure I use the president's terminology and I'm not coming up with my own interpretation and calling it a campaign or calling it a crisis or calling it a small front. I want to make sure I use the exact same terminology the president of the United States used in calling it a war. What did the White House say the reason or reasons were behind those invasions? Rich, I'll start with you on that one.
Who knows?
Well, we all know because they said it.
No, because most of you, well, except for Mr. Brooks and Mr. Wigg, most of you tell me that whatever comes out of President Trump's mouth, you can't guarantee is being factually true or not. So
No, let me be factual about that. Let me be verbatim. I said it's a lie.
Well,
Well,
if that's the case, then I don't know. I don't know, because President Trump told us that last summer, under his great leadership, the greatest leader of all time, except for President Lincoln, that they destroyed all of the nuclear capabilities of Iran, and that Israel is now safe permanently. But now, I guess there was an imminent threat, because if it wasn't an imminent threat, he'd have to go through Congress to declare war, but he didn't go through Congress to declare war. So it had to be an imminent threat. And his spokesman, Caroline Levitt, said that they was close and they was getting ready to do a lot of damage, and the president felt that he had to put his foot down. That's all I have to say. So I don't you know.
Rich, just to help you out, I'm gonna throw you alley oop, man. She said the president had a feeling,
Yes.
again, a feeling based on facts
Yes.
that Iran was going to strike the U.S.
And
Okay?
and I've been told in this country that when certain people have feelings, the rest of us better fall in line. So I'm falling in line.
Okay, so for Rich, it's the White House said it's a feeling.
I told you that's what they're saying, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay,
Because you
All
guys
right.
tell me that no matter what he says, he may say one thing 1 minute and mean something different the next, or he's completely lying, or he's trying to protect Jeffrey Epstein, or he's trying to protect, as Mr. Wigg said, trying to protect Israel. So I don't know what to think. I'm confused.
I'll take D, all of the above, Alex.
Okay.
So let me ask this then, and I'll push this to Brooks, right? And then we'll round robin this one also. What was meant by the liberation of the people then? Because I thought that was the reason. I thought it was because of the concern for the people of Iran and their tyrannical government and their now deceased Ayatollah. I I thought it was their liberation, which is what America was actually looking at in the best interest of those people.
My understanding is that you saw a lot of people protesting, saying, "Hey, you know what? We're done with this." And then Iran decided, especially after the quote unquote deal that they were going to make. Oh, they were like, "Oh, okay, we're close to a deal, great." And then Iran decided to like slack on the deal, and they didn't follow through. And they were like, "Oh, you really realized? Oh, you're not going to actually do anything."
But what does that
And
have to do with
not
the
only you're not going to do
liberation?
anything, you're going to continue to persist.
What does that have to do with the liberation of the Iranian
Of
people?
the people,
Yeah.
well, I think the Iranian people saw that. And like you look at right now, like you have a great considerable amount of people who are saying, you know, who are super happy about like what's happening, and then you have obviously the opposite side who are like not, and they're trying to figure out a balance there where what it looks like for the future. And so I was like, okay, cool. I've been watching, I've been listening, and listening to all sides, and I look at it like, oh, okay, they're not really serious about actually the Iranian government is not really serious about actually making, not enriching uranium to make a nuclear weapon. They're not really serious about like having fair elections for the people. They're not really serious about like anything that they said. And so it's a point to, or I think it got to a point where like, oh, well, then you know what? We just don't believe you anymore. So game on.
Okay. All right. So
It is.
Wig, Deuce, hop in there.
I'll let Wig go first.
Same question, right, Glass?
Yeah.
Same question. Listen, okay. I'm sorry. What's the question one more time? I ain't gonna lie to you.
So we're trying to figure out, according to the White House, what the reason for this war is.
Okay. First, it was for the people because he couldn't have the people getting slaughtered in the streets.
Okay.
But I said if we're gonna take that logic, then we might China and Russia, so let's let that go. They'd say they're not. Then it was that they can't have ballistic missiles because if we go off what he said back in May last year, that they obliterated the nuclear capabilities then. So what was the purpose for going in if you already set them back so many years? So to tell you the truth, I don't even think they know what they went in there for outside of Israel.
Man, you
That's
on that
what I
point?
think.
Go ahead, Deuce.
I mean, it's dude, it's a smoke show. Let's be real about it. Tell me when this administration's cared about people. Give me one instance where this administration's cared about people.
They care about the victims of the Epstein files, which is why they won't release the names of the billionaires and multimillionaires who are clearly victims.
I feel a little passive aggressive, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's a perfect example, right? You say one thing, but your actions don't align with what you say. It sounds like a good sound bite. We know he loves good sound bites. It wasn't flushed out. It wasn't thought about. They just threw it out there. Media jumped on it to make it seem like that was a purpose, but the actions don't align with that whatsoever. So that's definitely a lot. Some other things they talked about. We talked about enrichment of uranium for nuclear warheads, right? Even before we bombed them to eliminate their nuclear capabilities, before then, the International Atomic Energy Agency went in there to investigate, right? That was maybe that was on the Biden. I can't remember. It was before this term. They found nothing. And keep in mind, the same countries that are the founding members of that are also the founding members of the UN. So it's not like countries that are always in sync with each other, right? Russia's in there, right? Nothing. And then the administration's talking about people, regime change, weapons. Rubio's out here saying, Israel already had plans. So here's the thought that goes to what Rich was saying about that feeling. Rubio said, expanded upon what Levette said, they knew Israel was going to strike Iran. They felt as though Iran would strike Israel's friend, not friends, friend, us. So because they thought they would strike us, we had to strike them first. See, that makes no freaking sense. That's like Lynn coming through the screen to hit me because I'm mad at you because he think I'm gonna attack him after I hit you. Like, make that make sense.
Hey,
All right, Lynn,
Hey,
are you
Glass,
able to make?
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead, Rick. You got it.
hey, how many veterans we have on here now?
How many what?
Veterans?
Out of the six,
Veterans.
out of the six, 5.
Okay. So I know I ain't got to like break my words up when I start talking about things. Okay, I'm good. Appreciate it.
Yep. Lynn, it's on you. It's on you. Which?
I keep coming back down to the L word because
Love?
leadership.
Oh, okay. No.
We have,
Wrong script again.
for the second time around, poor leadership in the highest office in the land. And it's like the guy's not even playing checkers. And we need a chess player. We need a 3D or a 4D chess player in that role. And we got just poor leadership. I had a feeling, that they were going to do something. So what? If I'm the superpower, I'm not losing sleep at night over somebody wanting to come at me. And then when you get into the conspiracies of why this is going on, of course, you're going to hear all kinds of stuff. Israel has the files.
I hadn't heard that one.
Oh, you haven't heard that one?
No.
Israel, what, the Epstein files?
Oh, whatever files you need to do to possess to move somebody around the chessboard.
I don't think. Okay.
Look, here's the thing. We don't know. None of us on these 6 screens know.
No.
So we all just got to come down to how we process information and what we choose to believe. And for me, the fact that is undeniable is we have a poor leader in the White House. And this week here in Texas, from an election standpoint, Trump in these special elections, he's 0 for 9. And he told the 2 Republicans running for the Senate seat that he's going to make he's going to choose his horse. And once he chooses his horse, the other one that he didn't choose needs to get out.
Come on.
Of the race. Yeah. Because he had 3 horses.
Colon of the herd.
And the brother predictably lost. Wesley Hunt.
Wesley Hunt, yeah.
I called that. So now we got Ken Paxton, a guy that's been cheating on his wife. Cheating on his wife is a drinking game here in Texas.
Did Al Green win? No. Did
Al Green's in a runoff.
No.
Al Green is in a runoff. That'll be settled in May. And he's in a runoff because
Did
of
Jasmine Crockett win?
ding, ding, redistricting.
Yep, it was a redistricting issue that Texas.
And Jasmine Crockett lost. Let me tell you why.
You're 100% right.
Because listen, listen, Brooks. Let me cook. Jasmine Crockett lost because in Dallas County, in Texas, like especially when you're early voting, you can vote anywhere you want. But on election day, you have to go to specific places.
Yeah.
Well, up in Dallas County, even on election day, you could vote wherever you wanted. But the Republicans went to the courts. So people that thought they could vote anywhere in Dallas County got turned away from anywhere and had to go to their designated place.
Come
So
on.
then the court said, all right, so now we're going to leave the polls open 2 extra hours. But then here comes the get back. The Republicans then said those votes after 7 o'clock have to be treated with an asterisk.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
So, wait. What
So
does the
she
asterisk
lost
mean?
50. She lost 52 to 48.
What does the asterisk mean?
Just basically they don't
Count.
They don't count.
They don't count.
So
So-
she lost
48.
52 to 48. Look, and she knows that's why, she knows that's why she lost.
Yeah. So let me ask
Because
this.
Dallas is her home base.
Yeah. Bringing things back around to Iran. Let me ask the panel. How many intercontinental ballistic missiles does Iran have? How many has it been reported that they have?
I don't think it's a lot.
I don't know how many they have. I remember reading like a report,
Oh, there's like
some YouTube
2,000.
videos that talks about all the militaries in the world. If you stack several of them up, they still can't compete with our artillery.
Nope.
They still can't compete with our stock and our defense measures. So no matter how many you had, it's like, I think Lynn kind of said, they're not a threat. They never were a threat. So
The reason why I'm asking, because if we go with, I had a feeling that they were going to strike us preemptively.
yeah,
First.
In order for them to do that, they have to have intercontinental missiles, and they have 0.
well, he said they did say us and troops, right? So if you think about troops are extended forward
Yeah, you're right, James.
away from the mainland.
I will sidebar, by the way, to say, Mr. Medeiros, in your hot trash University of Spoiled Children school,
Oh my God.
Ohio State is way better than you guys.
Popped off.
Like,
No.
let's be clear.
Jesus
all right.
Christ.
Spoil the children.
Yeah, I know that was. I'm sorry. I was shots fired. I was on. It's on me. I will admit it. That's my bad. But they don't like. United States is fine. Nobody's gonna fire a missile over what 3,000 miles without
3,000.
like
No,
a
it's more than
plane
3,000 from
or,
Cali to
detection
the East
system
Coast
gonna
is more than
shoot
that.
it down.
And so,
Yeah, I'm
so
just
where,
using that as an example. Like it's,
Yeah.
it's 3,000 from. Yeah.
so where does the preemptive strike come into play?
The preemptive strike is not coming here. Now
doesn't.
you could preemptively hit our assets in
Yeah.
the water and on like they're doing now, and on those bases where we have alliances in the Middle East. That's
Yeah.
it. That you can hit our property, you can hit our real estate, but you can't hit our country.
No.
And so, how many times in the past has that happened without us poking the bear?
I'm gonna go never.
Somebody.
I'm gonna go with never.
Well, no, I mean only World War II in Japan.
No. I'm not talking about other countries. I mean Iran specifically.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, never.
Never.
No.
Never.
Okay. So if they've never
Oh, no,
preemptively,
not at all. Like,
Yeah.
not at all.
so if they've never preemptively struck, even after we deposed their duly elected leader and replaced that leader with a dictator
Talking about back in the day.
back in the day, in order
Back when
to
you were
control-
friends.
yeah,
They were our
in order to
allies.
control
Yeah.
the oil. Why is it that all of a sudden now? Because I want to go with that narrative of preemptive striking and the feeling. I got a feeling, like Janelle said, I feel like I should be winning the lottery.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Janelle Aquino She put in here, shouldn't be starting a war over feelings. And they say a woman can't run the country because of her hormones.
Mhm.
Janelle Quino, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
I'm done. Go ahead.
I agree with that also. I don't know where Lee ran to, but I'm pushing on these narratives because there is no sense that I can see that's coming out of this whatsoever. And so the preemptive movement and the preemptive war, again, using the president's words, was done for, if we use preemptive strikes, there's no foundational truth in that whatsoever. And so I'll swing back a little bit and let's talk about the liberation of Iran.
Hey! Before you do that,
Yeah.
James, let
Yeah.
me give you the because this has been heavy on my mind because the wife wants to meet Melody Hobson, who I've met a couple
Oh.
times back in the day.
She's
And
Ariel,
then I heard a couple people talk
investor.
about emergency powers.
Ah,
Who's Melody
Well-
Hobson? The name sounds familiar.
Oh, she's married to George
Financial.
Lucas. She's married to George Lucas.
But she has some on her own.
Oh yeah,
Ariel
she's the president of
Investments.
Ariel Capital,
Yeah. Okay.
mutual fund firm out of Chicago.
Mhm.
So when people are talking about, and we've seen this POTUS exercise this strategy, where if you get into this conflict, and this conflict goes on into the seasons, now, and I've never seen this, but maybe it's possible. Are there emergency powers that then delay, postpone, or cancel midterm elections?
I heard that being floated around. I don't know.
Then
My
that's a
answer
movie.
is-
Listen, that's a movie script. This is Star Wars. This is what Senator Palpatine did.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is what he did.
So
He caused
So if
conflict, and
Yep.
then a war started, and they granted him emergency powers,
yeah.
which he never let go of.
Yep. And so that's part of the dangers with what's happening, especially since the Senate recently voted not to restrict the efforts that he has going on right now. That's a lapse of judgment, in my opinion. And I hope the American people actually understand what the Senate has done with that vote. They volunteered your sons and daughters. That's what they've done. They've volunteered your sons and daughters, not theirs. They volunteered yours.
Call to serve, I heard.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's Mr. Glass. Sometimes I don't know. First of all, there ain't no draft. So if you put yourself in a position by volunteering to serve the country, God bless your soul, you
Mhm.
put yourself in that position to be used and abused for democracy. So we want to be, sometimes we show our biases, and that's fine. And I know where you're coming from about the Senate really doesn't, it's not their kids on the line. Because they would make sure that their kids never volunteered to put their lives on the line, except for people like John McCain. There's a few people in the Senate,
Right.
a few in the House that will put their life, and JD Vance, Vice President Vance. He served.
The journalist, the Marine journalist, that
Yeah.
dude, that
So
dude.
let me also remind you that
Hey, what's
Project
that dude?
2025 was a real thing that we read a third of on right. And they also, in Project 2025, they did outline implementing a draft in the event of conflict. Not only did they outline implementing a draft in the event of conflict, but they also outlined how they are going to make all public schools, I just want to remind everybody, make everybody in public schools, all children in public school, be eligible for said draft. Stephen Miller has already begun to talk about it. Right. So I'm not saying it just just pulling it out of the depths of
Right.
biases. I'm saying it because they've already begun to implement a ton of Project 2025. They said that they were going to do this, and they're doing this. They said that they were going to mess with our elections. They've done that. They said that they were going to remove DEIA as well as get rid of the Civil Rights Acts. They said this is Project 2025.
Wait a minute.
Hmm?
When you make those statements about they want to get rid of DEI, get rid of black folks, yes, they're going to do that. Okay, that's fine. We're conditioned. We're born in this country. We know what time it is.
Mhm.
But some of that other stuff, you know, people who ain't from Black America, people who are not black, when you say certain things, that kind of gets them excited and emotional.
Sure.
So when Lynn said emergency powers possibly to delay the midterm elections, I would say this to Lynn. I'll put up your 100 and my 100 when you come back with the betting markets that say the same thing. Then we'll put the money up and then I'll shut my mouth.
Say
So when I
less.
see it on
While
the
y'all
betting
talking,
market,
research.
when I see it on the betting market, and I think that betting market is in England because you can't make here in America. You have to do it in England. That we won't have a midterm, and the bets are coming in saying that is correct. Well, then I'll put up the $200 for me and Lynn, and then we'll take the money and disperse it once we win the bet. So, because that is very, I think when we say certain things on social media, you talk about terrorism and you talk about it in such a strange way, you're going to get monitored. You talk about sexual assault, you're going to get monitored. You talk about the country of it, Mr. Wig, the country or state of Israel, however you wanted to claim it, Mr. Wig, you're going to get monitored. But you talk about not having a midterm election in this country that could cause a natural disaster, it's almost like a nuclear bomb, we're going to get monitored.
They talked about it already.
Okay.
He's already talked about this.
Okay.
I listened to what POTUS says intently, right? He's all when he had I can't remember the leader that he had on there, and he made the comment. Oh, so because he was talking about Ukraine, as a matter of fact, he said, so you know, they go to war and you just can't have an election. Is that how that's done? That you can do that? Is that? He was already throwing it out there.
Yeah.
He was throwing it out there.
If you want to really rip this country apart and make it worse than putting a half white, half black man into the White House for 2 straight terms, if you want to really rip this country apart, don't have an election, and you will get what you want.
Rich, they already have that bet out there, man. There's Poly Market. You can bet on stuff like that. This is an American company. But will the 2026 midterm elections happen as scheduled? It was at 100%. Now it's down to 90%.
Coming down.
And there's a reason for this. Wig, let's go ahead and transition over to what you were talking about and move into where you want to be.
Hey, hold up. Let me tell you something though. Honestly, it ain't that I ain't listening to y'all. I ain't listening to y'all. Get some good conversation. I ain't gonna lie. I'm there. Well, go ahead. I'm there.
Yeah. So I
Go ahead, man.
There was a reporter who bluntly asked POTUS if Israel forced his hand into this war, and he directly said no. And I just want to make sure I say this. I saw the faces already. My God, let me finish, gentlemen. Let me finish. But the president said no. As a matter of fact, he probably forced Israel's hand into this war, and because they were going to do this anyway. Now that's paraphrasing. And at the time, I just also want to remind at the time that this strike happened, there were negotiations on the table with Iranian representatives who were literally saying, we don't want a nuclear weapon again. You have free reign to come in to inspect our facilities as well. And why did you pull out? Now, they didn't say this. This is just me. Why did you pull out of the first deal in the first place? But anyway, I'll stop that at that point. So with that being said, where are you at when it comes to POTUS saying that? We'll start with you on that.
You know, I don't even know what to say about this guy here, man. Because I don't know what to. I don't believe anything he say. I think he just talked just to talk. To be honest with you, he just say things just to say things. It ain't like he's gonna actually say Israel runs our policy. Because if he's simply saying Israel runs the foreign policy of the United States,
Mm.
so what else can he say besides he forced the hand? You see what I'm saying? And no, we all know the deal. He in 2018 he tore up the Barack Obama deal.
Yeah.
So then he comes through the door, and all of a sudden now they're making nuclear weapons, and now they're the worst people on the planet.
Mhm.
No, you can't. No, he wasn't going to say anything other than what he said. I mean, actually, the reporter kind of backed him into a corner by asking that question. So what else could he say? If he says that Israel is even if he says Israel is our ally, and we're going to stick by them, and Israel said that they were getting close to getting a nuclear weapon. More than half America not going to go for that because we went to Iraq because of that, and we didn't
Well,
find anything.
I just want to point out that Mr. Malowski, Bibi Netanyahu, I didn't mean to call him by his familiar last name from Poland,
Yeah,
but
European.
I didn't mean to do that. But he has been saying that the same rhetoric about Iran for the last 40 years, waiting for somebody to hear it, saying that they're building nuclear armaments. They're building nuclear armaments. And every time he said it, each president throughout this 40-year span has essentially, they were curious enough to investigate it, right? Which is how we ended up in the position we were with President Obama and having deals.
Mhm.
But we ended up in a position to where, for no real reason that I can remember outside of yet again another feeling, we walked away from that deal just to turn around several years later and say, wait a minute, they're building nuclear armament. It just feels and sounds weird to me. I'm gonna use that word at this point. It feels weird because if he can use the word feeling and it be taken objectively, damn it, I won't mind my feeling to be objective as well, and nobody can argue with me on it.
I
mean-
think
Go ahead.
any woman that runs in 28, or anybody who identifies as a woman, a transgendered person, transgendered.
You
Girl.
on mute,
So
Lynn,
I try to figure out. So you know what I'm
you're on
saying.
mute, Lynn. You're on mute, but I'm reading your lips, man.
So any person that identifies as a woman.
Stop it.
No, I'm saying
Look.
anybody,
Just give her. Just make her a woman.
well, okay.
That's it. Stop
no,
it.
no. So we're not going to agree on that. So listen. Anybody who identifies as a woman, when they run in 28, if Janelle Aquino, if they don't use this statement, I can feel any way I want. And if I want to go because I think we're in immediate danger and bomb somebody, I can, because I'm just as good as President Trump. That is a killer line, because you're showing that when men say we can't put women in positions of power because of their feelings, their hormones, but then you have a person called President Trump in power who's doing the exact same thing. That's hypocrisy. That's the arrogance of the older European American / Caucasian man. But the big thing is the hypocrisy. I want everyone to understand this. Yeah, we serve the country, but I think we're more defensive minded. We serve to protect America, not to go on the offensive and tell another country what to do. We have the most nuclear capability on earth, but yet we'll tell Iran, we're not comfortable with you having these abilities for you to create your own nuclear weapons so you can control your destiny. So we tell them you can't do that. Now, I know Mr. Wig thinks it's because of Israel. Mr. Wig is probably not wrong, because before I could get my mouth perched to talk about Israel, somebody beat me to it. So that's great for me, because if I had brought up Israel tonight, y'all would have said, there he goes, his quote, anti-Semitic, hating the Ashkenazi Jew. There goes Richard. But when another black man, a brown-skinned black man with gray beard and perfect teeth in his mouth, he gets on here and says it, y'all sit there and listen to him. Oh, yes, you do.
Let me
Hey, here's
hold on,
one.
let me point this out real quick, Wig. I do need to say this for the record, because I found out not too long ago that this was not a common knowledge type of deal, that South Africa, right? They actually did build a nuclear weapon, right? Back in the late 70s, early 80s. So the African countries do have capabilities, minerals, resources. No. Listen to what I'm saying. They have the ability to build these nuclear armaments if they wanted to. However, they did sign not just treaties and agreements with themselves, but also anti-proliferation laws, so that they wouldn't be destructive forces in the world.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Of all those African countries, you picked the one with the white government.
Now,
of all those African countries,
they're
you
the
picked
ones that
one
had it.
African country, one African country that controls its resources, but the black Africans are not controlling those resources in that country. The Europeans, or quote, as the young people say, the colonizers, they control the outsources.
With that being said, around the same time, there were several other African countries who also showed that they had the ability to build nuclear armament, but they decided not to. And they weren't.
That's a lie.
No, it's not.
Listen to this.
That is an actual fact.
That's what the media. That's what the media.
I didn't get that
wants
from
you
the
to believe
media.
about our black boys and girls.
No.
Original black folks.
I didn't get that from the media.
That's like That's like European Americans / Caucasians telling me, well, the African countries, they don't know how to control their natural resources. We have to come up from Europe and show them how to do it. That's a damn lie.
So I'm trying to figure out what point you might have missed.
What I'm saying is every
African
country wants to control its resources, but they can't, because they have Europeans who have colonized them, and when they have tried to control their resources, hold on a second. We have a president right now, a Burkina Faso. They trying to get him a little bit.
Yeah, correct.
Because he's controlled.
This is a darker, but it's still good.
Resources. So when you say that they had the ability to create nuclear weapons, but they didn't choose to, nobody that has the ability to create a nuclear weapon and can control their destiny is going to give that up. Ask Iran, ask Israel.
Ukraine did.
That's not true. Ukraine gave their stuff.
Ukraine did not want to give up their stuff. They got forced.
They did. Not only that, but again, these countries they have black governments, right? So regardless of what external influence might have, regardless of the external influence that jumped in and paid them not to do it, they still have the capabilities to do it.
No, they didn't.
Yes,
they did not have the capability. They did not have the capability to decide if they wanted to create nuclear weapons. That's an absolute lie. Anybody who believes that on this show, anybody who believes,
matter of fact, look up the African countries that even today have the ability to build nuclear.
They are not allowed to build their own nuclear weapons.
That's not what I'm saying. You're saying something that I'm not saying.
You're missing the language.
No, you're missing my point.
No, I'm not.
Everybody, listen. Your point is you're not listening.
Yeah.
He said ability. He said ability.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not. Listen, I have the ability to go and do a lot of stuff. Because
you may think.
No, it's not about a thought. It's not about a thought.
Let me tell you something. They're telling you that they have the ability to create it. What I'm telling you is
capability.
Listen to this.
They have.
He's gonna try to stay calm. Listen to this. On March 4th, 2026, he's gonna try to stay calm. The host is going to stay calm. He's going to stay on his point.
Because
Glad's playing chess over there.
I am telling the people who are listening to this, if you think there's an African country that doesn't want to create their own nuclear bomb so they can control their natural resources, you're wrong. I'm telling you this. Because
you're not saying the same thing. We're not having the same argument.
Your comment
But psychologically, we are, because I'm going to step deep into this.
No, we're not having the same conversation. Okay. You're talking about essentially if they wanted to, they would, so that they could control, but they can't control because somebody's got their foot on their neck. right?
That's
That's
correct.
not what I'm saying. But that's not what I'm talking to. That's not what I'm speaking to. The vast majority of Americans think that the African countries don't even have the mental capability of doing it.
Okay. Now, wait a minute. Because I know when I talk to certain, I know when I talk to certain people, they'll kind of set something out there, and then they'll sit back and see if you eat on the bait or not. What I always do is I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm gonna go to really what you're trying to say, or what you kind of alluding to underneath. And what I'm simply saying is, we all serve this country, but I find it with such disdain that we have our nuclear capability, and nobody's going to come over here and tell us what to do, at least not openly. But yet, in the same hand, we have the audacity to go tell another country what they can do, because we're taking our American lifestyle, our American culture, and saying that our lifestyle is superior. And I don't like the word superior, because then I'm reminded that I am not an immigrant to this country, and neither are my ancestors. So that ideal of being superior is what got my family over here. So for us to go over to Iran and tell them, you're close to developing your nuclear capability, and we're not going to allow you to do that. And I'll say this at the very end. When you go to war in the Middle East, they're not playing by the same rules. So if you think you can be all sophisticated and bomb a few places and say, look at us, look how great we are, don't your ass complain or say shit when they come back down the road to bomb us. Don't you say a motherfucking word, because it's coming.
So, here's my thing. I got to go back to Lynn's statement earlier about this guy's not playing. He's not even playing checkers, right? Nor chess. Y'all remember dominoes?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the grown-up version. We were kids. I used to line them suckers up.
Right.
You bump them, you knock them down. Then, all right. So, Iran, they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, right? 20% of the world's oil goes through there. They shut it down. He was already anticipating that, because the first domino to secure oil was what?
Venezuela.
Easy target. Largest reserve, we already talked about that. Secured that. And before Iran, he was out here saying, we're getting barrels and barrels and barrels of oil from Venezuela by the day, right?
Our partners now, by the way. Our good friend.
All of a sudden.
Don't forget that.
I mean, when you beat somebody up enough for a little while, they, after that first punch, they feel that power, they're going to be your friend and take him out of comeback, right? So that's that. Now we're in Iran. He's going to balance out. I guess I'm more disappointed in the people, right? If you go back to Vietnam,
Which people?
us, like American people,
Okay.
right? If you go back to Vietnam, what ultimately pulled the U.S. out of Vietnam was the will and the voice of the people, protesting, voting different people in, those career politicians losing their jobs, right? You say you threaten to fire somebody, that's gonna light a fire under their ass, right? Nowadays, man, we're too complicit, we're too comfortable. And let me finish this though.
Yeah.
I think securing the price of oil, making sure gas prices don't go through the roof, is going to keep most Americans complicit enough to let him do this. And he's taking a page out of Putin's book. Remember 2014 when he secured the Crimea from the Ukraine? He watched the reaction of the world. Nothing. Letters, embargoes. He was already used to that. Then a few years later, what was it, 22? He went into the Ukraine, right?
Yep.
And Trump knows he only has a 4-year window, so he has to act faster. Venezuela was first. Now he's in Iran. We don't know what that development is going to look like, but I think as long as people's pockets are reasonably okay, you can get away with murder.
But Deuce, they won't be okay.
That
Gas
part.
prices are going to go up.
They already have.
Yep. And hold on.
He said they're going to come back down.
Here we go with the dominoes.
Before.
Here we go with the dominoes.
Okay.
So the prices that he was supposed to bring down on day one,
Yeah.
which he didn't,
That
they're
keep
going to
going
go up. Unemployment is creeping up.
Yeah.
So all these things are going, and then hold on. the death toll is creeping up.
Oh,
So you got gas prices, death toll, economy. All of this is going to go horribly left for him in short order. And if he
Fed might
says
not be able to
anything
lower the
close
rate,
to boots on the ground,
and the Fed might not be able to lower the rate because of all this.
it's a
They-
wrap.
Boots on the ground, yeah. But
It's a wrap.
I think his plan is to flood the system with oil, sell the excess,
From where?
to try to
Okay.
balance out.
From
OPEC
where?
already said. OPEC said that they were going to not flood, but release I think it was like 20,000 plus barrels per day, right? But
Yep.
that's not going to help the American
Extra?
economy.
Nah.
That's actually going to hurt us in the long
thought
run.
some-
Let me defend the American people just for a second. Let me defend.
Okay, I'm
Let me
listening.
defend the American people just for a second, right? Because Lynn began to list off a great list of things that are going to snowball. It's a snowball effect, right?
Domino.
want-
Let's stay with Deuce's dominoes.
Okay, domino
effect.
domino effect. Yeah. So the domino effect, right? Because he's also talking about Cuba. I don't want to lose sight of that either. There's mention of Cuba, and Cuba's hurting right now as well. So it's just another opportunity.
Mhm.
So one of the things that wasn't mentioned just yet is healthcare. Healthcare is going to also play into that death toll. It's going to healthcare is increasing. People are going to die in America. And in defense of the American people, Deuce, I don't disagree with you. There is a sense of complacency, but I also think that there's also a sense of being overwhelmed, because now, just this week alone, you've had gas prices that have almost drastically increased, right? You still have eggs, bread, and milk that are continuously increasing. You have the average credit card debt in America that's increasing, and not only is it increasing, but people are beginning to default or not pay. There's you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and let this card slip. 30 plus days pass, right? And you also have the Minnesota stuff. You have ICE, who's been out there listening to Kristi Noem being talked, being sat down and essentially chastised for no reason because she doesn't care, even though there's a company that was opened 8 days before it was granted.
Is it 8 days or 11 days? I'm confused.
I heard 8. The only thing that I've seen was 8, but it could have been 11, right?
It was. I saw 11 in one of those hearings, but it's you know, $143 million to the secretary, to the administrative assistant's husband.
Yes. Right.
That's
So
nice. That's a nice contract if you can get it.
Yeah, and so it's a flooding. It's the zone that they said that they were going to do again, right? This is a page out of Bannon. It's the flooding of the zone that the people, they're just trying to figure out, where can I finally come up for air? And then, let's go ahead and throw Iran in there. And not only are we going to throw Iran in there, but we're not going to give an actual reason. We'll pivot every time. Oh yeah, you know what? There's about 1,600 American civilians that are still out in that area. And we didn't really plan on bringing them back. Let little Marco try to figure that out. Let him give the answer on that. So they flooded the zone so much that not only is it complacency, but it's a sense of being defeated by a tyrant, right? We've said on multiple different platforms, they talk about terrorism. They talk about Iran being a terrorist state. And I don't disagree with that, right? I also believe that sovereign countries need to take care of sovereign country issues, not us, preemptively. But in the manner in which America has been acting towards its own citizens, especially when you begin to dial in election, that becomes the literal definition of terrorism. So we can look up the definition of terrorism. I memorized it on purpose when I was a young soldier.
I mean, no, I get you on that, but
wait.
People are still too comfortable.
Yeah.
In order to make a change, the only way you're going to have a change in the system is when the people become tired, like the Arab Spring back a few years ago. Americans are too comfortable on average.
But let's go back to the word.
I'm sorry, just one thing. I ain't gonna say Americans. The Americans aren't tired. I got to. If we being honest on here,
Mhm.
White people ain't tired.
Yes. Yes.
The best trick in this country's history was rich white people convincing poor white people that they're on the same level as they are,
Mm.
and giving them somebody to look down on.
Mm.
That's where we at right now. Because if it wasn't I'm gonna say undocumented. If it wasn't the undocumented, guess who would be next in the shoot? We would.
But we always been in the shoot.
Yeah, we been in there. You know, they just giving us a break.
Well, not and with that being said, what a lot of the Iranians who have been celebrating don't know is that now they are the new target. They're the new
So
target.
right. So I ain't gonna say the people aren't tired. They just have somebody to voice their anger towards.
Mm.
That's what I think it is. You know, they see it. When they go to the grocery store, they see it just like we see it. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you're right. I agree with you. Tired, but still not uncomfortable enough
Yeah,
to make
they
a
gotta
change.
get uncomfortable.
Mm.
I
They gotta
think
get
right.
they're tired, but they're not uncomfortable.
And
It's,
then
hey, it's like 1.5 miles in that 2 mile run. Like you tired. But
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, your check engine light on, but you still gonna keep on going.
Still gonna
You know,
knock out the last damn mile.
exactly. But when they start looking at them bank accounts in a little while, you know what I'm saying? When they start looking at them bank accounts, ain't no difference between us and y'all. Same.
You're right. That's why he wants the interest rate to drop. But he's doing everything to create a condition where it doesn't drop. He's shooting himself in the foot. But you're right. As long as people's money is okay, their money is okay enough, he's all right.
Yep.
He's all right.
Their money.
I don't think he's shooting himself in the foot per se. I think he's doing this the exact same way he's done all of his other business ventures, which is bankrupting. He's bankrupted America at this point.
To make himself richer.
Yeah,
We just gotta pick our chapter.
absolutely.
Okay.
And he's running off, and even his people in his administration are stealing money. Elon made his money back. Matter of fact, Elon made his money back before he even got inaugurated. Right? He's made his money back already, just like he's done with his businesses. He's a billionaire now. He's an actual billionaire.
Yeah.
Right?
You mean
But it's
trillionaire?
all yeah. Well, Elon, right?
Right,
But
no, you mean trillionaire, not billionaire.
Yeah, trillionaire for Elon, and he's
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought he was worth 300 or 400 billion. He never became a
Nah,
trillionaire.
he's up near 800 billion.
He's going to be
And
the first
then
trillionaire.
you've got that deal that
Okay.
stretches out. Because you know the crazy thing about being a billionaire today is all you got it. Like I could be a billionaire today if I have a company that builds jets, and I get an order for 20 jets.
Yeah.
On paper, guess what I am?
You're a billionaire.
And you know where we learned that from? Kanye West.
Yeah.
That Adidas deal on paper made him a billionaire.
Yep.
And then he went a step too far with his anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
contract got taken away, and now he's just a multimillionaire again.
Now he's like,
Yeah.
he's trying to call Elon Musk for help.
Right.
Right.
Well, hold on. Let's acknowledge that if it's true that he is bipolar, people who have a mental illness.
I think it's autistic. He's high functioning autistic.
Oh,
You're
okay.
talking about Elon Musk.
No, I'm talking about Kanye.
Oh, okay,
They say
Kanye. Yeah,
they say
bipolar.
he's bipolar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
You still with us? Okay, hallelujah. God is good. I see you
Dude,
still.
I said bipolar. He started joking. If it's true he's bipolar, then we can't necessarily hold him responsible 1,000% of the time.
No. Guess what? I have a child that's bipolar. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
The problem is, you know, like in NASCAR, they have a governor on how fast your stuff can go.
Yes.
Bipolar, there's no governor. So you know when the stuff is parked on the batter's box in your head, and then your brain says, no, don't do that. So they know, and they do it anyway.
It's all
Wow.
go all.
So he knows.
Okay, well, listen. And you know, you have my deepest sympathy about your child being one of your children.
No, it's not.
No.
No, we good.
Well, no, because no, hear me out for a second. Hear me out. My mother was schizophrenic, so I'm coming from the other direction.
Mhm.
So when I talk about mental illness and how it affected, my family
Mhm.
and my mother, I'm coming from another, but that's a killer. That schizophrenia is a situation. Bipolar,
That's another level of mental
yeah.
illness.
So bipolar is kind of like, it's really bad, but that schizophrenic will get to you. But anyway, this situation about terrorism, because when we talk about the definition that's coming from the English language and how we define terrorism, I remember years ago they defined that the NIGGER was a black person. I never agreed with that definition. But when people take it to the dictionary, they said, no, this is who you are. But then eventually they said, well, we're going to have to take the word out of the, listen to this. They didn't just say this is a racist word. They took the word completely out. So they didn't have to go back and say that what they had been saying about the NIGGER, about black people, they never made the apology for it. They just took the word out of the dictionary. So sometimes when we look about the definitions of words, which ironically, talking about terrorism, if we go to Israel and they're saying that they are the children of God, they're from the 12 tribes, there may be a person on this panel who disagrees with that. And there may be people who disagree with that, saying, if you want to convert to Judaism and practice, you want to become a Jew by practicing Judaism, then that's fine. But to say that you are from the original 12 tribes, those Hebrews, when they came out of Egypt, that you're not. So people say, well, you can't say that, that's anti-Semitic. But the reason why I bring that up is the people in the Middle East, if they're coming from Isaac, okay, Judaism. If they're coming from Ishmael, there's a good chance that they're going to be a Muslim, either a Sunni or a Shia. So these groups here, they're never going to agree. So when we talk about why did we have to go over to Iran, we didn't have to go over to Iran. Now, is it absolutely true that Israel said, hey, look, we up here, maybe we shouldn't have came back to this land, but we did. We here and we ain't leaving. And we'll do anything and everything to keep this land. And we don't care what we got to do. Then that would be maybe some of the Israelis' mindset. So did they have some influence on us going over to Iran? Well, factually, they say the American, the American Institute for AIPAC. I can't remember AIPAC. Allegedly, I say allegedly, they have a great deal of influence as a super PAC. Allegedly.
That's not an alleged thing. It's
No,
the
they
truth.
have an accounting of all the politicians that are taking their money.
Right. So, but the reason why I say allegedly they have this superpower that's greater than another super PAC or another PAC's superpower, because some people, when they talk about Israel, I believe that some people are anti-Semitic. Whether we think that the people of Israel, Israelis are Semites or not, I think some people, when they talk about Israel, they are racist. I believe that. But I think sometimes when people actually tell the whole truth about the Middle East and about Israel and Palestine and Iran and all that, it gets kind of into a deep conversation. And most Americans are not made to feel uncomfortable enough to care. But I will say this. If it ever comes out that 9/11 was man-made and our government has some type of influence that they knew ahead of time and they let that happen, if that ever comes out the way we let Pearl Harbor happen so we could get involved in World War II, if that ever comes out in the next 10
Richard, go to YouTube tonight. You can see that's all over the place, that it was a setup, it was staged, it was a hoax, it was this, it was that.
I think
that's out there.
I think, Rich. I think some of your arguments, I see the validity in them, right? The validity in them. Alabama sneak out sometimes, right? The validity in them, right? But honestly, I think sometimes on here we put too much emphasis on ideals and beliefs, right? When today's people, I think the modern society only cares about money. Money is the God, is their God, not the God. Take that back. It's their God, little g. So the only time to get a riot out of people nowadays is when you affect that pocketbook. differences of ideology, sure, you can get to the White House, you can do some things, but the type of outrage and anger that you speak of that to spread to the masses enough to make a difference, in my humble opinion, it will be from that dollar. I think that's it. I can't think of any other connective tissue that would affect the masses and to what Wig says, and I agree with it, right? The white population, to align them with the minority population, it's the dollar. That's it. If, like, I mean, there's stuff out there about 9/11. It moves the needle here and there. There was stuff out there for Hurricane Katrina. There's stuff out there about a lot of different things, but some people get upset. Epstein, I've been saying, and I hope I'm wrong, but it's more stuff about Epstein has come out, and I still don't see the change or the uproar that I thought I would see. However, what the administration knows, now I got to keep administration, right? But what the administration knows is that that dollar could cause an uproar and rip the rug right out from under them.
Can we agree on this?
Let me write this down.
Can we agree on this? Deuce, you're not wrong. But I think I'm going to the underlying tone of money. Why is my money better than Deuce's money? Because I believe I'm superior to Deuce. And that's why my black face on this US dollar is the most revered currency on earth. This is how I said this. Deuce, you got your little money with your little face on it. Nobody cares about you, Deuce. But my black face, because I'm a black man, and I've always had privilege in this great country. And that's why my face is on the US dollar. My face. Because my idea is I'm superior to all others. And therefore, all others want my money. So yes, they still want the money, but because my black face, I'm part of a class of people, and we are superior, and therefore our money is superior, and therefore our God is superior. I stop there.
And I think that's because I wanted to continue. I just looked and realized we've been on for an hour 17 already. Oh. My goodness, that happened fast.
Yeah,
it's
good stuff.
I know. I got to get my big guy to sleep. But fortunately, next week I'm still sure that this will be happening, so we'll be revisiting this topic.
Oh, I'm about to do a deep dive on it.
Yeah, and that's what I'd like us to do is do a little more digging, because I've gone back and I've listened to the history of Persia, also known as Iran, and I've learned why they called themselves, why it was called Iran. I've learned why I learned where those peoples came from, how they got their start, and how they became as powerful as they are. And I've been doing a lot of research on Iran. I've learned about their politics. I've learned about their replacements. I've learned about their currency. I've learned about their protests that they've had even before now. And then while I was learning all that, I also learned that the next possible target for this expansion of war is going to be Turkey.
Turkey.
And why Turkey?
They already threw one at Turkey today, I think.
Yeah. But why Turkey?
And that is what we will have to get into on the next episode.
Because I really wanted the answer to that.
So with that being said,
real quick, I would say why Turkey, Deuce, because it doesn't look like Turkey has taken a side.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you want to know what side somebody's on, you got to throw a jab at.
And one quick point. Remember when I kept seeing all those beautiful buildings they were building in the UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and I said they're building those buildings big. I said I wonder if some of those other Muslims are going to say that's too much American influence. We're going to come bomb you. I guess my answer has been delivered.
I see how you would get there, and I'd also like to say this is an alleged conspiracy theory that, you know what? I'll say that for whenever we're off, whenever we're not live, because. This one could possibly what I wanted to say could possibly have us
monitored.
Monitored, yeah.
Yeah, I'm already on the list. So
yeah, I'll say that once we hop off. Not that we're important enough, but you never know. All it takes is a small word to get a crowd moving. That
We're not
is-
anti. Here's the thing: none of us are anti-Israel. We're not against no country trying to maintain its sovereignty.
It's not
We're
about
not against no
being,
country doing that.
yeah. It's not about
Really?
being any anti anything, because I'm not anti anybody except anti anybody who's trying to hurt people who are just trying to mind their business. But it's just something that I saw in passing that I'm going to actually do some more digging on before I actually.
Yeah, but I always want to make sure on this podcast that when they watch us, I want people to be clear. We are not anti anyone and their ability to protect their country, because if we were, we would be hypocrites as military veterans.
Yeah.
Amen.
So, we want countries to be able to defend themselves, because trust and believe we're going to defend our country.
Exactly.
That's simple, not complicated.
Except for Stephen Miller. Fuck that guy. So.
I ain't gonna say nothing because I feel way about somebody else. I ain't gonna say nothing.
All right, we're gonna push around the horn. Oh, Rich, you up
God,
first.
okay. All right, so I'll try to be quick here. This military conflict in Iran, here's the long-term consequence. The revenge, the payback. And I want people to understand this. Not everybody supports the Geneva Conventions, especially the fourth part of the Geneva Conventions about civilians during a war or military conflict or military transgression. So when they make the comment that those children in those schools and the women in those schools in Iran, they were hurt, I want people to understand this. It's just a matter of time before we are, quote, subject to being bombed again in this country. And when they come to bomb us, and they will, they're not worried about men, women, and children, because they don't go by the Geneva Conventions. The terrorists don't do that. So let's always keep that in mind, because if you go and bomb a country and you let those women and children live because you were being righteous, just remember, some of them are going to grow up and try to come back for you. I'm Richard Lewis Brown. Thank you for your time.
And as I transfer over to Deuce, I just want to remind everyone that there was a school of 100 girls that was bombed during this war.
I heard
So, anyway.
165.
And with that, the White House press secretary didn't want to talk about that. It was brought up, it was mentioned. She dodged that like Floyd Mayweather. She dodged that, right?
At that roll defense.
That little Philly shield.
Yeah.
Man, James, I'm glad you brought up the Project 2025. I'm gonna have to go back to the foundation. I think whenever things start to look a little crazy, go back to the foundation. And when you started mentioning things connecting it back to 2025, I'm like, we did read this. It is in there. Not that it makes sense, but it makes sense if you understand what I'm saying. So now I wonder if this is all just a big ruse. My question is, are we really underestimating this guy? Because he comes across as aloof, as callous, as definitely not smart, definitely not a thinker, a planner, statistician, anything like that. We do know he has a strong team. We do know about the Heritage Foundation. There's probably other groups that we're not aware of. But he's the face. He's the face. And as the face, you have leverage. So I don't think that he's just a puppet. Does he get pushed around some? Of course. Everybody does. But he's not just a puppet. I'm starting to think, man, maybe it's all a ruse. Maybe he's a lot smarter than we thought. Maybe he's the best actor of all time. Keep your eyes peeled on the time will tell. That's all I got.
I think that's a very relevant point. I really do. Wig.
Bruh, I ain't gonna lie to you. I can't give him no credit on in the brains department. I just can't do it. I refuse to do it. Now, and then the people that follow him, they so dedicated to him. He could tell them it's okay to land on the sun at night. You'll be okay, and they'll go try and do it.
Damn. That's
Drink
cold
bleach.
blooded. Golly.
No, I'm just telling you. I think about my granddaughter and how long it's gonna take if this country ever gets dug out of its hole. If this guy has done nothing else in this country, he's made everybody take a look in the mirror and see who you are.
Yes.
And some people don't like what they see. That's what I think. He is they tearing it down. And if they I'm not saying they are. If they're doing this as a distraction to the Epstein files, just imagine what's in those files if you're willing to go this far. So that's what I got. That's all I got.
I dig it. I dig it. Lynn, it's on you.
Keep coming back to that one word, leadership. And I've had a lot of gigs in my life. 2014, I was in Florida, helping a friend of mine get a pawn shop off the ground. And
You said
pawn, P-A-W-N, pawn shop.
okay.
And so what I had a few people that will come on a routine basis and pawn an item, and then they would come and they would pick it up, and then they would pawn it again, and they would pick it up. But what I started to learn was eventually, they were unable to pick it up.
Mm.
And I had to sell it because it had a shelf life of about 30 days. They didn't pick it up.
Mhm.
And I had to put it out for sale. And that's what this leader reminds me of. Eventually, he's not going to be able to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, he's going to run out of luck, because when I was watching this game unfold, it's like when you're in the fourth quarter of a game and you're sitting there looking at the team that's losing and you're saying the only way they can win is if this happens and that happens and the other thing happens. And then you watch all those things happen and they win. That's what I was going through when I said, because I didn't think he would be president again, because he would have to he had 4 cases coming at him. But I said, he's got to delay. And then on top of delaying, he found that Fannie, whatever her name was in Atlanta.
Fannie Willis.
Yeah, she was smashing. That was Trump. He found that out.
Yeah.
He found that out through one of his lawyers. Because even though lawyers know on the street this dude don't pay his bills, they still want to be his lawyer.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. I cannot figure it out. But anyway, I was saying, then this would have to happen. This would have to happen. And all the things. But, even though the one in New York with the 34 felonies got him,
God.
ran out of time. By the time it was time to sentence this man, we were right there in election season. So the judge punked out. Now, had I been the judge, I'd have sent his ass to jail.
Yeah.
He would have never been president.
Mhm.
But that judge was looking out for his future.
It's life.
Yeah. But sometimes people say, you know what? No. And here he is doing it again. Guess what? He did this when he had casinos. He did this when he had casinos. I'm in Philly, down the street from Atlantic City. I watched him do this. I watched him build the Taj Mahal and promise people 14%, make one payment, and then say, yo, if y'all don't let me knock this down to 9, I ain't making no more payments.
Yeah.
And guess what people did?
Knocked it down.
They knocked it down. That's who this dude is.
Mhm.
He is going, just like with everything he's done, he will not be able to come and pick his PlayStation 5 up from the pawn shop. I'm gonna have to sell that baby. I'm gonna say, damn, Richard didn't come pick it up. I really thought he was gonna come back for the 6th time. I'm not lying. I am not lying. It was amazing to me, you know, that whole thing. And what probably going to happen after he's out of there, Deuce, I think they're going to call that period Reconstruction.
Mm.
The 2.0.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Reconstruction 2.0. We're going to have to reconstruct, and I think we will build back better, because now we know all the holes that we need to plug moving forward, so that another guy like this can't come down the pike and put us in this situation. But this right here is a failure at the leadership level.
And I agree with that. I agree with that. So y'all have said a lot. I'm almost to a point where I don't need to go around the horn, but I'll do my best to try and fit in with y'all. As I've been watching the rhetoric from the White House take shape, and I've been listening to what senior leaders have allegedly told younger junior enlisted, it dawned on me the danger once again that we're in.
Yeah.
We have, unfortunately, because this is America and everything is for sale, the propagandization of religion.
God's war.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. How have you not learned how to just say, listen, turn that faucet off. We ain't running that water no more. Stop selling this in the media. Stop selling this from the White House. If people continue to say this is God's war, again, it goes back to what I've said once before. You're putting your God on trial. And I also want to say this as well. Your relationship with your deity is your relationship with your deity, and it's nobody else's. Your connection to salvation, your connection to an afterlife is a personal movement and journey that has to be experienced. Although it's fine to share, it should never be forced. Trying to sell this as a just war in the name of God is probably one of the most satanic things that we continue to do in America through propagation. We did it with slavery, America, the inception. We did it when it came down to hanging strange fruit. I say we loosely because it really wasn't a we. If I point a finger, it's gonna hurt your feelings. Y'all have allowed these standards to take root, and then you believe in that bullshit. Christian right nationalism is probably the biggest rot and decaying type of entity, type of organization that is going on right now. And it's going to lead to an unfathomable amount of lives being lost. How have you not realized that regardless of the religion you serve, when you insert it into politics, it's still the extreme right? I don't care what you do with it. I don't care who you believe in. You've taken your religion, pushed it into politics, and now you're so far away from being balanced, it's impossible to separate the two and then insert money into that. Just America, there was a spy who said America is not going to he's a retired spy. He said America is not going to be destroyed from another country. America will be destroyed because of sophistry. Our own ignorance, our own stupidity, our own arrogance. The exact same thing your religion, I don't care what religion you study. Every religion have because I study religions, world religions. They all have very similar components of morality. One of those components is an inclusion of the downfall when you let yourself be trapped inside of arrogance. And our arrogance is, it's so filthy. It's so filthy. We've got to do better. If you are one of the people who are marching around saying that going into another country, first off, who established us as being, and I'm taking this from Rich, who established us as being God's people? Matter of fact, this is not being anti-Semitic. Who established Israel as being God's people? Maybe to the Judeo-Christian religions, there might be some subjective importance in that. But what if you're Buddhist? What if you're agnostic? What if you're nihilist? What if you're so many other different things? It's such an arrogant position to put yourselves in. There's no humility inside of your deity, and it's being showed forth by this very implicit movements that you're having by saying you can grant somebody else thousands of miles away from you liberation from their own people. Unfathomable arrogance. The Bible talks about this. The scripture talks about the fall, what happens with pride, talks about the story of Satan and how that happened, so on and so forth. But there's still no lesson learned in that because you're following right after your father. So take that small sermon for what it is. If you are falling for arrogance, you cannot claim that El Elohim is the God that you are following, because El Elohim does not lie. And you're following the father of lies, which will be your measure for eternity. And with that, I come off of my soapbox. All right. As always, give me a second, Wig. I got to pull you back up, man. Not that you dropped down, but you had some background noise out, so I lowered your mic a little bit. All right. So with that being said, that was my small religious rant as I continue to see the pushing of, from the White House, this narrative of this becoming a righteous war, a continuous pivot to try and justify their wrong. Hey, Juan. But Congress, where you at? Elected representatives, where you at?
Well, I think it's tricky because if you're in Congress and you belong to either one of the two major parties, that AIPAC is supporting both parties, so they can never lose.
Yeah, they are.
They absolutely are.
You know, since Deuce says it's about that money, you know what? Let's go back to what Mr. Wiggs said about Jeffrey Epstein.
We can't.
Wait, no, just one quick point. Just one quick point.
Yeah, you got it.
One quick point. When I get stuff on Instagram, as Lynn knows, you can't believe everything you see. But if these pictures of some of these Epstein emails are accurate, and they're referring to non-Jews in derogatory terms, we have a problem. We have a big problem. If allegedly the emails that people say they've gotten to download and they have gone through the emails with their some type of computer or AI, and they're looking and whatever, and they are seeing derogatory words about those who are non-Jews, we have a problem. That's it.
Yep, I dig where you're going with that. I know I'm picking up on what you're putting down, and I think
I'm saying if, because I don't know, because when they showed all these pictures of these emails, it has Jeff vacation or Jeff Epstein at vacation or something, whatever his email address is. Because if they're putting up these pictures and they're lying on Jeffrey Epstein, I do believe that's defamation. If you're putting up a picture saying this is this guy's email and it's not his email, you'll be in court.
Mhm.
His
So
estate can sue you.
somebody is telling some type of truth when they made the big down, the 2 million or the 18,000 or 18 gigabyte.
Mhm.
Terabytes. Yeah.
Something's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But with that being said, good people, we're going to continue this next week because again, we'll still be in Iran. Hopefully, we don't have boots on ground by that time.
No, we won't. But we still gonna be over there.
Yep,
Mhm.
I do want to send our condolences out to the families who have lost loved ones in
Yes.
the aspect of the 6 military members that have been lost due to whatever actions. And that's not a political stance. That's simply being a vet, understanding.
I knew he would know.
Yeah, what it
I
is
knew
to
he
feel.
would know.
Yeah.
I knew he would know.
So,
jmail.world.
yeah, I'm gonna let you write that down.
jmail.world.
All right. So with that being said, as always, good folks, we absolutely appreciate you being in here. Again, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit the like and subscribe on YouTube. Look for us, the Family Bloodline. We'll be there. Come on, hop on with us and talk about it. So thank you for hanging out with us. God bless and good night.
Good night.